you. And so if you just want to do the chorus, I bet you can jump off it. All right, here we go. Long ago, in this place, were animals but no human race. No earth, no ground for feet to be, just a deep blue sky and a deep blue sea. Then the word came down from the morning sun, the human race is soon to come. They walk on land and they need it steady, so fish and swan, I want you to get it ready. Here's your chorus. This is how we made the earth, and it was made for you. This is the moment of the planet's birth, peace and green and blue. Fish, swan, bear, frog, fin, wing, web, claw, the prettiest earth you ever saw. And it was made for you. Let's practice that one more time. This is how we made the earth, and it was made for you. This is the moment of planet's birth, peace and green and blue. Fish, swan, bear, frog, fin, wing, web, claw, the prettiest earth you ever saw. And it was made for you. Swan flew up into the clouds, searching for some solid ground. Fish dove deep beneath the waves, he found the mud, and then he gave a signal to his brother Swan, who closed his wings and dove straight down. Scooped up the mud, and with a cry, rose right up into the sky. And this is how we made the earth, and it was made for you. This is the moment of planet's birth, peace and green and blue. Fish, swan, bear, frog, fin, wing, web, claw, the prettiest earth you ever saw. And it was made for you. If it's solid ground that you lack, place your mud on the turtle's back. Get the frog to use her feet and roll it in a ball complete. Then Mother Bear will come along, planting hope and corn and song. Then in the face of the morning sun, the earth is ready. Let 'em come, and this is how we made the earth, and it was made for you. This is the moment of the planet's birth, peace and green and blue. Fish, swan, bear, frog, fin, wing, web, claw, the prettiest earth you ever saw. And it was made for you. Now you guys have got it. We can do it one more time. This is how we made the earth, and it was made for you. This is the moment of the planet's birth, peace and green and blue. Fish, swan, bear, frog, fin, wing, web, claw, the prettiest earth you ever saw. And it was made for you.
What is your favorite thing about nature? You can think for a minute. Anybody down here?
One of my favorite things is cicadas, but I really, really, really symmetric nature. Sort of thing.
How the glaciers shape this landscape, because if you go to the Paris Forest Preserve, Dan Ryan Wood, you'll notice all the hills and everything else that the glacier shape. I did a paper and ink read on eutrophication and how the one beaver dam is now no more, but how it was produced when I was in eighth grade. So.
My favorite thing about nature is swimming because it's like just so serene sometimes. When you're in like a little lake, it's nice and warm. You just swim around. Keep up nature.
You be like clouds or anything.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, your sister.
I like to see the boundary
Okay. Go ahead, on your turn. What is your favorite color in the rainbow? We have a rainbow here. Oh, it's like I'll have it.
I think my favorite color in all of existence is like a squeamish blue, but my favorite color of the rainbow, I want to say black and brown.
My favorite color of the rainbow is yellow because of the sunshine and warmth.
My favorite color in the rainbow is purple, and I think it's just a really pretty color.
Your favorite color of the rainbow?
Blue. And my favorite color
Okay. Would you rather live in a treehouse or a riverboat?
My riverboat would be so large that it had a tree house. Maybe two.
I think because of my dad made the experience, if I wanted to swim, I would live on a river.
I live in a treehouse because then I can climb around a lot and also have to go to the grocery store.
Would you like to live in a treehouse? Yeah. Or maybe a boat? You know why? Why do you like boats? You love them? With the cicadas too? Okay, anybody dig up a worm and want to share your experience?
Megan and I dug up 1 trillion worms when we dug up our backyard, and we tried to rescue all of them. We tried to free them very carefully while we, got rid of the dirt. So they lost the good that we had built horrible humans.
I rescued children from worms after they were digging the dirt when they were not supposed to.
Me and my friends in Gordonsville found worms in a tub of dirt and named them Terrence Ike and Terrence Ike Jr. I want to go on the egg.
You ever dig up a worm? No. What about worms? Legally? Or underground bees? Okay, last question. How can you give the world a big hug?
I think by loving the things in it and remembering that it's what we make it. So if we fill it full of garbage, then it's going to be full of garbage. If we don't.
Give the earth a big hug by reducing our carbon imprint and having more environmental action things done with batteries.
And you can get a big hug by making, like, farming more environmentally healthy.
Hug an animal, a plant, tree. Okay, well, I want to thank our panel, and I want to thank, Auntie Sabina Earth.
Yes.
I want to thank that words. Oh, Amanda. I think this is a little vintage, but, can you just make sure you can. Amanda?
Yes, it's old. Julius first wore that.
Millions of years old.
Thanks, everybody.
This is more than years.
Now, in the future, by the decisions we make and the actions we take. Some actions are monumental, like the first Earth Day on April 22nd, 1970, which quickly led to the creation of the United States Environmental Protection Agency, the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, the Endangered Species Act, other pieces of environmental legislation. Today, that sounds like a fairy tale. As the current political power structure has been, is, and will continue waging a full-scale assault on environmental protections designed to safeguard the natural world and thereby all of us. However, we each have a power of personal decision and action, very often which seem inconsequential. What one eats, how one shops, what temperature do you set the thermostat at, mode of transport, level of awareness, engagement, and activism concerning public policy, and the list goes on. However, individual actions become a collective that compounds and creates a force, a power to actualize positive outcomes. And today, we have a panel of 4 of our church members who are going to share with us how they, on a daily basis, or a monthly basis, or every now and then basis, say yes. So we're going to start with Amanda, and Mary Lee, Keith, and then Jane.
Good morning. Good morning. I'll go first. And I'm going to be talking about some gross things. Food waste is gross, and so is food. Usually, we don't like looking at or talking about these things, even though they are both a big part of our lives. Today, I'm asking you to take a closer look. Did you know that 40% of food in the U.S. ends up in a landfill? When I asked Alexa, she disagreed and said that it was even worse at 60%. A landfill is made up of so many things, and 24%, nearly 1/4, is from food. When that food waste decomposes, it releases methane, a harmful greenhouse gas that is 20 times worse for our air than CO2. That food can be diverted through composting. Not only would this reduce greenhouse gas emissions by up to 58%, it would also allow other organisms to flourish, improving soil health. Compost is highly nutritional and can improve the health of crops and plants when added to the soil. And this is the big part, eliminating our need for synthetic fertilizers. Another benefit is to decrease rodent traffic. And I said I was talking about gross stuff, this is another one. Less smelly waste minimizes the attraction of rodents, like rats, to the garbage. Next time you're in the alley and you see that big bright yellow sign that says rats target, that means that there is poison, filled rats in those areas. That's not good for us either. So here's our story of our composting journey with my mother and I. My mom's friend Chrissy gave her a small bucket that she didn't need anymore, pointing out the huge impact that food composting has on our environment. And so we began collecting our food scraps at the kitchen counter and then dumping those into a larger container and then dumping them into the city bins located behind the 111 police station. There was no way I was going to go in the backyard and turn all the composting, and that was just too much. My mom usually went there after picking Jenny, our international student from Vietnam, up from school. This was a very gross gas. Any of you have been to the 111 compost bins? It's not like terrible, but it's kind of gross. Neither of them were fans of those items. And then we heard about a company that would spare us all the grief of composting. Waste Not picks up our 5-gallon bucket every other Monday and swaps it for a freshly sanitized one. Then it transports our food scraps and paper waste to a commercial composting facility. That means our family saves 260 gallons of waste just from our small family. There's only 3 people. Easy peasy, right? Waste Not Compost is the nation's only zero-emissions compost collection service. And Waste Not began in 2015 right here in Chicago out of a 15-year-old kid's desire to do better. It started as a zero-emissions company utilizing a bike and a trailer across the city. And as membership soared, the kid and his best friend joined forces to maintain their commitment to sustainability. They aimed to deliver a sustainable service, but sustainable. They went from operating on a bike to a 100% electric fleet, allowing all Waste Not members, and this is their tagline, to compost without compromise. It is the best $24 a month that we've ever spent. Well, maybe not ever spent. A good one. And good news, Jenny, who was initially totally grossed out, is composting at her house with her family in Portland. Composting really is a simple habit that can have massive implications for our planet. So if you already compost, thank you. And if not, please consider doing so, and you can give the world a hope. Another company that we think is really important is Who Gives a Crap? Can you guess what it is? Toilet paper. Toilet paper! That's right. We get a huge box filled with our fun rolls of toilet paper. And I forgot my rolls of toilet paper for you to see, but they're like decorated in really cute tissue paper, and they're really cute for toilet paper. Who Gives a Crap gives over 50% of their profits to help everyone have access to clean water and toilets. Over $14 million has been raised to date. They do this while making eco-friendly products using bamboo and recycled paper, but not recycled toilet paper, just toilet paper made from recycled paper. They prioritize sustainable raw material sourcing to balance daily household hygiene needs and environmental protection. A sustainable, biodegradable, renewable, and tree-free bathroom. Yes, this toilet paper does cost more, but I'm I'm willing to spend more money to support a company that shares my values. There are 3 values, well, lots of values that are important to me when looking at companies, but these are 3 big ones. The impact on human life. Without proper sanitation system, like toilets, waste ends up in the water community uses for drinking, cleaning, and bathing. Using contaminated water, as you can imagine, can lead to all kinds of infections and diseases, many of which can be fatal. But it's totally preventable. Access to clean water and a toilet could save 1.4 million lives per year. And you can be a part of that. Number 2, the impact on the planet. Untreated waste is a huge contributor to methane gas emissions. And from before, you know that the most potent greenhouse gas is methane. In fact, untreated waste accounts for 5% of methane emissions caused by humans. Treating waste properly can have a huge impact on our air and our water, fishes and mermaids. Thank you. Number 3 is the impact on vulnerable groups. Women, girls, and people with disabilities are most likely to get sick, most likely to find themselves in dangerous situations, and most likely to have their work or education disrupted by a lack of water and toilets. For example, around the globe, women spend an average of 200 million hours walking just to collect water. Think of how much they could do with all that time. Or not do, right? Because they deserve a nap from all that walking. Painless online ordering made it easy for my family to make a real difference with little everyday thought. That's the big picture, right? You don't have to think about it every day. And I hope that my girls topic has reminded you of the impacts that we can make together. So you can join me in easy composting with Waste Not and wiping with Who Gives a Crap and give the earth a big hug. Yes, after you wash your hands.
Well, this morning, I'm going to talk a little bit about recycling and what I have done and learned in my 2 years on this earth. I'm really honored to be included in the service about Earth Day and the activities that we participate in on a daily basis. Before we called it recycling, that's my topic, it was instinctively save and reuse what we have. Earlier efforts to reduce waste began in cities with more densely populated areas. In the early 19th century, we didn't have an abundance of things, and as we do today, but still it caused problems in disposing of and just where to put all the trash. Landfills were filling up and municipalities needed to figure out how to handle the amount of trash. Scrap metals were collected and reused during the growth of railroads. During World War II, which maybe some of us were born right after the war, but the attitude was the same. Government really got aggressive in encouraging citizens to save metal, paper, rubber, and nylons. Campaigns with posters promoting savings, these things were considered patriotic duty. I grew up in a household where saving and reusing was important. My father did not allow waste. If we could figure it out, we had a way to use it again. Dad was raised by a single mom, and he would tell us how lucky we were because he was tasked to go along the railroad tracks to pick up coal to bring home to heat home. He didn't forget those days, but never seemed to resent time. Of course, there would be warnings to us of how lucky we were not to have to do that. But it was a message that we learned. Nothing was easy. Another one of the savings was water. Now, we lived in the city of Chicago, and my memory, water is everywhere, but somehow we couldn't waste it. And all of us kids, 5 of us, we shared dads. My brother and I now laugh about this and try to figure out what Dad was thinking. Water couldn't be that expensive, but evidently it wasn't in the budget. So we weren't allowed the luxury of wasting water. Of course, as we aged, Dad lost that battle, but you just wouldn't believe it. Oh, and many of you probably do remember that cash received in returning glass bottles.
Yeah.
That was a way to get a little bit of money if you return the bottles, but now most bottles are plastic, and they end up with so much more trash than what we ever had with glass. I wonder if we should start a program where we could recycle or return the plastic and get money for it. Maybe that would be an incentive rather than throwing it out the window on the side of the road. And it might help with recycling. There is sometimes there's an incentive motivation. Buying things was not first choice in my world. I learned how to sew, which gave me some freedom. Actually, when my girls were young, I made outfits for them. Strawberry shortcake was a big thing. My point is that doing with what you have is enabling. It gives you an opportunity to make a statement and be unique. We live in a society that offers so much at times, it's hard to choose. I grew up in a loving home that had to create new out of old. The lessons were sometimes frustrating, but also gave me memories. My mom and dad moved to Alabama, and Dad got involved in a group in the community to start a recycling program. This really got him involved in the community, and he would talk your ear off about the difficulties and the need for the program. What surprised me was Lillian, Alabama had a more robust program than Danville, Illinois. This would have been in like the mid-90s. His talking about recyclables is still in my memory. It helped him so much to work in a program that he really believed in. We all have stories of saving and reusing. Remembering my father while composing this has brought back memories and greater respect for him and the foundation he gave to me and my brothers. I believe our nation has been slow in recognizing the danger of all the trash we create. Some communities are aggressive and others ignore the problem. It's not magic, but does require everyone to take care and enough to work for it. Where I live now, in a condo, it does not have the option of recycling. How do I handle this? I store my items, and when I visit my daughter, I take things to her. She gets my stuff. It's not ideal, but I continue to work on helping the community one bag of stuff at a time.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Is anybody here old enough to remember when a TV show named Sesame Street came out? Raise your hand. Don't lie to me, because I'm wrong. Does anybody still watch it? Big Bird, Bert and Ernie, the Cookie Monster, Rover. I'm not too strong, but I'm Larry. The Count, Oscar the Grouch, and my personal favorite, Kermit the Frog. He was a very philosophical, I don't know what he's like now. Back then, he was a very philosophical frog. He loved to write songs, sing them, and talk halfway through them. My favorite was, it's not easy being green.
Yeah.
It seems like you blend in with so many other things. The times have changed. And it's very easy to be green. In fact, it's the way to be. It's cool. My journey to turning the basement into Greenland actually started 2 years before Ruth and I started attending here. I needed a chainsaw. And my old gas chainsaw had sat on the shelf for so long, it was locked up tighter than a drum. I couldn't even hold the cord to start it. So I went to the Ace Hardware store, and the Eagle chainsaw box said, power you're not going to believe, or power you can't believe, something like that. And I thought, well, I don't know if I believe this. But I bought it, and I thought, well, if it doesn't really have a lot of power, I'm only out a couple $100. It's no big deal. It's got to cut something, right? If it doesn't have power, I still don't believe to this day. 3 days ago, I cut down 5 little trees out in what Ruth calls the jungle in that far corner over there. And it went through them like they were peanut butter. So then we started coming here. And our old tractor died, and the man that was taking care of the old tractor and driving the old tractor moved away. So I was cutting the grass with our push mower, which I can guarantee you it is not fun cutting this lawn with a push mower. So a couple people from the board came to me, and I wasn't really all that involved yet. And they said, if you got a tractor, will you cut the grass? I said, sure. And so they said, go out and research tractors. For 5 weeks, I went to every tractor store in the whole area. I researched, I had 15 pages of notes on tractors. And I went back to the two of them and I said, well, here's my report. And this lady, who we all know, looked me right in the eye and said, what's your first choice? And I said, well, it's the Eagle tractor. It's not their top of the line, it's not a piece of junk, it's perfect for us. So she said, well, get that one. I wasted 5 weeks of my time chasing tractors around the entire countryside. But anyway, we got it. And since then, all of our power tools down in the basement and take care of our property are Eagle battery-powered power tools. I can't even imagine how many gas fumes we save the atmosphere from. There is not one tool that we have that I don't think is superb. The tractor, I believe, is better than a gas tractor. It handles great, it's built great, it's easy to use, it's got its own mind, it has safety items. I wouldn't change it for the world. So, if we were any greener around here, we'd be so cool, we'd be frozen. And last but not least, I was asked by Kim, remind you that the planters outside are halfway filled with your foam donations. And that saved all that foam from going to a landfill. So we're even greener. So Thank you all, and have a great day. Happy Friday.
Yes. It's Jay.
Hi, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, or if you are not a biological father, that you take care of somebody in that way. I had about a half hour of talk, so I'm gonna try to condense it a lot. It's been a tough week for me. We said goodbye to our longtime dog, and that was very hard. And then the very next day, I found out that a piece of my childhood was going to be sold to nobody I knew, and or anybody in my family knew, and that really upset me. That will tie in. You'll see at the end, maybe. I hope. In the 1800s, my father's family went to Minnesota for prime farmland. They'd been told it was the best farmland in the world in the Netherlands. Of course, when they got to northern Minnesota, all they saw were trees. So it wasn't that great, but my father grew up going to the farm in Minnesota and he loved it. On my mother's side, her father, as a Boy Scout, traveled to Minnesota for camping and canoeing on lakes. And he saw a small cabin on an island and he said, "Someday I'm going to have something like that. I'm going to have a place where we can go and spend our vacation and be out in nature." Many years passed. My grandfather had the opportunity to buy a very rundown cabin for $15. He was getting the guy that owned the cabin out of trouble, and the guy said, "I don't want anything, I just want to be done with it so my wife doesn't leave me." And so my grandfather bought the cabin, took my grandmother there. The first night they slept in the cabin, there was no roof, and they lay there and looked at the stars and said, "This is the heaven." And with the roof, it was like heaven. It was my place in northern Minnesota. I went there every year from when I was 5 until I was 21 or 22, and then have gone various times since then. It is right on the edge of the Boundary Waters, which is why I'm so passionate about the Boundary Waters. It helped shape who I am. I learned about birds and trees and moss and how things grow, and I tried not to learn about fish, but I did. Sorry. There's a copper mine owned by a company in Chile that wants to open a mine on the edge of the Boundary Waters. That would contaminate that entire watershed. And it could ruin waters even as far away as Hudson's Bay in Canada. 100% of copper mines fail. When they fail with spills or accidents, they leach sulfuric acid, heavy metals, sulfur pollution, and more into the water. It ruins water, wildlife, our health, and our economy. Harvard did a study that showed that as a wild area, as a dark sky area, Minnesota gets more money from that than they ever would from the copper mine. It employs more people, so more people benefit in having a job. It's so important that they not be able to build this copper mine. They've been slowed down, but not stopped totally yet. There are companies that take a portion of their profit and give to Save the Boundary Waters. They sell all kinds of things: candles, coffee, clothes, cleaning products, outdoor gear, sewing, custom sewing items, wood art where they take various kinds of wood and make an image like a mountain. Granola. And a portion, depending on the company how much, goes to Save the Boundary Waters. If you went to Save the Boundary Waters website, at the bottom, it has a list of companies, how much they give back, and what they sell. Or you can email me if you're interested in a particular thing, and I will look it up and get back to you with what they sell, what company, how to get in touch with them. I just ordered a bunch of things yesterday after reading more about the company, so I'll let you know how it works out. But it's my little piece of heaven, and I don't want to see it ruined. It's too important. Years ago when I lived in Colorado, I read a book about how simple it would be to destroy the watershed in Colorado and the nation. It scared me to death. This is that same kind of scare. So be thoughtful in what you do. Support companies that support Save the Boundary Waters, or just the whole wild system that's out there. It's in almost every state. You can do something to save the planet.
Okay, now we get new kids. Final song. We're gonna be playing off the internet.
We need girls.
We're gonna need 10 people, because we got props. This is my absolute, almost absolute